Now, see, this is exactly what I've been waiting for from the Oval because episode 3, Friday the 13th, it's not just about the country being under attack. It's about what happens when everybody who's been lying, sneaking, plotting, cheating, covering up crimes, and pretending to be in control suddenly have to make real decisions under real pressure. Because when the United States is under attack, you don't have time for the bullshit, right? You ain't got time for side conversations. You don't have time for people standing in the hallways acting like they forgot that they work at the White House. The room has to move, right? This is the kind of episode where the Oval starts playing with two different types of danger all at the same time. We've got Dilva Prinn walking around the White House like she knows 3 secrets, 2 agencies, and at least 1 body location, right? And then underneath all of this crisis, you have this personal horror happening right inside the White House tunnels. And let's be clear, this episode, it took a dark turn, yes. And for once, most of it actually made sense. So let's go ahead and get into the review. We open with Hunter, Victoria, Donald, and Kyle all leaving the press conference area. And Kyle had his gun drawn, guarding them through the hallway like Secret Service is supposed to do when they guard the President of the United States. And already, it feels different. Because in previous seasons, the White House has sometimes felt less like a protected government building and more like an expensive hotel where anybody with a grudge could just walk down the hallway. But now the country's under attack and A&A, they're in full swing and Kyle is moving with purpose. And Hunter thought that he shut the country down, but the terrorists, they're still moving. So right away, the episode is telling us something very important, that Hunter, he may have a title, but does he have full control yet? Because Dilva is telling Hunter, she's basically confirming with him that the attacks are real. And when he presses her on who she really works for, she basically tells him that she can't reveal that or she'd have to kill him. Like literally. Now, that line tells us everything and nothing at the same time. It tells us that Dilva is definitely dangerous, and it also tells us that she's connected. She's not just some political communications woman who knows how to dress up a disaster for the media. It still doesn't tell us who she really is, and this is where I'm torn a little. Because on one hand, she's powerful. She has mystery. She has presence. She can spin the media for sure, move through the White House, and talk to Hunter like he's not the president. But on the other hand, making her the press secretary, it still feels like it weakens the power that the writers have already given to her. I don't know, it just feels like a woman with that much mystery and authority. It feels bigger than a press secretary title. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the title is just a cover. Maybe the office is just where she sits while she does her real job behind the scenes. But if she's as powerful as everyone keeps making her seem, the show has to be careful not to box her into a role that feels too small for her energy. She told Hunter that evil is lurking everywhere and that the country needs a president. And that wasn't just a line, it was a challenge. She's basically telling Hunter, stop reacting like Hunter Franklin and start acting like a motherfucking president. And surprisingly, Hunter is handling this crisis better than I expected. But listen, I'm shocked that Hunter still hasn't asked for 1 drug, 1 drink, or 1 woman while, during this entire attack. So he's actually focused. He's irritated, yes. Is he still petty? Absolutely. But he's also trying to assess the situation and strike back with power like a president does, right? And this is the version of Hunter that this season needs. Now, we go on to Lilly in her living room, and Lilly is on edge. She's trying to get Priscilla back on the phone. She hears something outside, and she is tripping. She starts panicking. She's paranoid, and honestly, I understand why. This woman has been through enough with Donald to make anybody ready to shoot a lamp if it moved too fast. It kind of reminded me of the shootout in the foyer between her and Donald, remember? At the end of season 4 or 5? I don't know. I can't remember which one it was. And Lily's lived in survival mode for so long, she doesn't know if the sounds that she's hearing is actual danger or if it's just telling her stories, right? She may be overreacting, but with Donald back in power and Hunter back in the office, can we really blame her? Then we get to the darkest turn of the episode, guys. Jason and Priscilla in this White House hallway. Jason attacked Priscilla and she grabbed the fire extinguisher and he gets her in the chokehold, right? Puts her to sleep and then told her that she has to suffer. And Sam is standing there watching. That is the most creepiest part of this episode. Now, let's stop right there because what is exactly Sam doing? right? This is not just disturbing because Jason attacked Priscilla. It was disturbing because Sam did absolutely nothing. He stood there and he watched his wife be assaulted. Right. And I have questions. Is Sam trying to get his lick back, still like when he authorized that agent to smack her in her face? Is this his twisted way of punishing Priscilla, or is Sam turning into something darker and more sinister than we realized? Because whatever problem Sam and Priscilla have, watching Jason attack her is on a whole different level. And this is where the show took a hard left into horror, and surprisingly, it worked. Because later, when Priscilla woke up, she's in Jason's private hideaway down in the tunnels. The tone completely changed, right? It felt dark. It felt trapped. It felt like a suspense movie. And this is the moment that Priscilla has been waiting for all these years, all these seasons, because Jason admitted that he did kill Jean. And she told him that she's going to make sure that he goes to prison for the rest of his life. And I think that was the biggest mistake that she could have ever made. Jason told her that snitches get stitches, right? He tied her mouth shut. He drinks a beer. He watched some corn on TV. Then he starts pleasuring himself right in front of her. This scene was very disturbing. It was sick. But from a storytelling perspective, it made a lot of sense. And I mean, Jason is still Jason, period. He's always had darkness inside him, but this episode actually placed that darkness in the right setting, the tunnels, the isolation, the fact that no one can find her. It all made sense. Now, let's talk about Eli and Simone in the infirmary, because Eli is working my nerves like the last one. He thanked the good doctor for saving his life, and his body is healing. It's on the mend, but emotionally, he's acting like Simone committed the greatest betrayal in history. Simone is tired of the silent treatment, and Eli is telling her that they're business partners now. Like, he calls her a prop and says that he will consult with her on business matters, on an as-needed basis. Sir, please stop. Eli had a full affair with Victoria, as we all know, and he tried to frame it and dress it up as strategy, so that he could become the president. But he can't suddenly act like Simone having an affair with Bobby makes her disposable. Come on, my guy, let's not do that. And Eli ain't even all that in the bed anyway, so girl, just cut your losses. Eli can dish it out, but he certainly can't take it. And Dilva, overhearing this, it made sense. It makes this conversation a little bit more interesting, because she stepped right into that tension and started testing Simone. They go back and forth about rank and who's over who, and Dilva wants to know if they're playing ball, right? And that was Dilva's whole mission right now. That's all she's there for. She's not asking people how they feel. She's asking whether they're useful or not. And that's cold, but in a crisis, it makes a lot of sense. Now, this is where I think the writers are setting a pattern. Everybody is being forced to choose a position, right? Hunter has to choose leadership. Victoria has to choose strategy. Donald, loyalty. Eli has to choose whether his ego matters more than survival. Simone has to choose whether she is willing to play nice, right? Sam has already made some disturbing choices. Like, it's just crazy to me. And Priscilla, she's been thrown into the consequences of it all. Then we move to Hunter and Donald in the Oval Office. And I have to say that Hunter, he's taking jabs at Donald every chance he gets. I mean, it's funny because it's so petty, but it also tells us Hunter hasn't forgotten who pledged allegiance to Eli. Donald is now calling him Mr. President again, and Hunter is not letting that slide. Donald brought in Mr. Frazier for updates, and Hunter learns that the explosion was close to the White House because of a parked car with a bomb inside of it. And Hunter is calling it the biggest security failure since 9/11 and says that people are not doing their jobs. And this is the second reference that we've heard to the 9/11 incident. And honestly, Hunter is not wrong. A bomb getting that close to the White House is a massive failure. And Hunter wanting to strike back as soon as he has a full picture actually feels presidential. Petty, but presidential. Now, Allan's storyline, I don't know, he got Jimmy, the homeless guy, to help him move the carpet from his apartment. And Jimmy noticed this foul smell. They rolled the body up into this Persian rug, and then they took it to the dumpster. Now, we've also seen this before, another dead body rolled up in carpet exiting stage left. Now, the last body that we saw move like this was Barry, because cousin Kareem moved it after finding him dead a few seasons ago. So this is definitely an old trope. It still creates tension though, because Allan is panicking and Jimmy is asking a whole lot lot of questions. But I do wish the writers would have found a fresher way to handle the body removal. Then we come to Sam and Richard. Richard. He told Sam what happened with the woman from the bar. The hotel is on lockdown. The girl was murdered. And the last room that she came to was Richard's. Sam told him to get to the White House and ask for the name of the hotel so that he can obtain the surveillance footage. Now, so once again, Sam has to save Richard. First, he helped clear him when he could have been charged with stabbing and killing his father. Now he has to get the footage of a murdered woman coming to and probably leaving Richard's hotel room. Richard staying needing Sam, right? He has to clean up his mess all the time, and I need this character to get a clue. But again, this also shows Sam's power, right? Even while he's acting strange with Priscilla, he's still moving like a man who can make evidence disappear. Like, you talk about a triple agent, he's definitely that. Now we have Bobby and Dilva in the car, and this is one of the most interesting conversations because it ties Bobby back to Lilly from season 1, episode 1. And yes, y'all remember that hot airport bathroom scene between Lilly and Bobby? Oh yeah, Dilva, she's basically calling Bobby out, and she suggested that he may be a triple agent and says that his secret weapon is below his belt because women can't seem to resist him. And because he fell in love with Lilly, it kind of compromised him, right? And this is interesting, but the writers need to be very careful because now we're hearing double agent, triple agent, secret assignments, hidden loyalties, and it's starting to spread across too many characters, right? Priscilla, Richard, Sam, Bobby. And at some point, if everybody is secretly working for somebody, the audience may just stop trying to keep up. But Bobby being reassigned to Lilly, it actually works. It brings the show full circle, and it puts him back near the woman who may still be his greatest weakness. Now, let's talk about Kareem. Nancy's all alone. She's terrified. And Kareem steps out with his face covered. This nigga just walked through the walls or something, I guess. He didn't even come through the front door. And at first, Nancy is scared, but once she realizes that it's Kareem, she's still afraid, but she's a little bit relieved. But Kareem is not himself. He tells her not to call him Kareem. He's erratic, and he says that his money is in Barry's room. And Nancy, she keeps saying that she doesn't know anything about this money. And I loved Kareem in this scene. Even though he's holding a gun and he's being very dangerous, this performance worked because it was complete opposite of what Kareem, of the Kareem that we know, right? He felt like a total different person. His mind is gone. His energy is unstable. And the actor made it believable enough that I suspended my disbelief. Now that's good acting. He did a great job. So that may have been one of the strongest performances in the episode, to me, hands down. Then we end the episode with Hunter, Donald, Victoria, and the advisors, and Max. Hunter wants concrete information on, when he can make his move, and a whole abandoned car just blew up in front of the White House, sir, after lockdown. So I don't know how much more concrete you need things to be. Victoria told them about the press asking about Jason and how Dilva handled it like a pro. Then Max came in, and Hunter can't stand him. He calls him a traitor and a bird. What is a bird? I don't know. It was very childish, but hilarious. Hunter doesn't want to see Max again because Max also pledged his allegiance to Eli. And here's where I need Hunter to just calm down just a little bit. He's crying like a little baby every time someone from the other side enters the chat. Yes, people betrayed him. Yes, they backed Eli. But if he's going to lead during a national crisis, he can't let his disdain for the opposition show every 5 seconds and throwing tantrums. Then Kyle comes in with the cliffhanger. They have a problem. They cannot find Jason again. And this is where I have to be very honest. Again, the we can't find Jason trope is a little stale. So here we are rinsing and repeating again in the same episode. We've all been here before. Jason disappears. Jason is dangerous. Everybody panics. Somebody realizes too late that Jason is doing something terrible. I wish they could have found a fresher cliffhanger because Priscilla being trapped in the tunnels was already dark enough, right? We don't need the same old Jason is missing button again. But overall, episode 3 worked because the stakes are higher, the tone is darker, and the White House finally feels dangerous on every level. But yeah, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You know, I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Tyler Perry's The Oval like I am, then go ahead and sub to this channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for sitting through my sinuses this morning. I really appreciate it, you guys. I'm going to see you on the next one.